as you were getting ready to start the quiz, I thought, oh, what's he doing? He's about to really embarrass me with all these really hard questions. And then they were like quite easy, so it made me look good. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I thought I was about to get shamed.
I didn't want to put you on the spot. Because like that's uncomfortable. Nobody loves a pop quiz. Surprise! Here's a quiz.
Yeah.
But I think that worked out well, and
that was fun.
Yeah,
that was fun.
And I was really glad when I found it today. I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is perfect for Hello Internet. And
would it have been a stupid podcast to have done all 300? I probably would have listened to that as a listener, like all 300 questions. If it was, if there was banter and joking around and it wasn't just like monotonous. But like, I feel like we could have done 300.
Here's the thing. I think because I was skipping around and
right.
I should. It's in the abstract somewhere, but the actual students who did it didn't get all 300 questions.
So you would just get a random 20 or 50 of them or something.
Yeah, I can't. I have it in front of me now. I can't find the exact number, but they got some random sampling of it, and I think it wouldn't have worked because a lot of the questions are too samey. So there's like there were several, like, as you could see there from the incorrect questions one, there were several comic book questions, right? There were a bunch of author questions. There were a bunch of capital city questions. There were a bunch of mountain questions.
And they probably divvied them up so you would only get one in each batch. But so you couldn't tell your mates and cheat. And
yeah, maybe that might be something they did as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would have actually been that interesting to go through all 300 because it would have started to get samey at a certain point.
I wonder how much science went into setting those questions as well, or whether it was just a bunch of people sitting around at the pub, or like real thought and method went into what questions should be in this.
Yeah.
Or it was just, Jane in accounts thinks we should ask what the capital of France is, or it was like there was a real scientific reasoning behind each question.
Yeah. Well, it's also because, like you say, a lot of them are pop culture questions, and the original survey was 1980, and actually in the abstract that I have in front of me, they have an example of like one of the things that they had to update, which was what is the name of the Lone Ranger's Indian sidekick?
Well, I know the answer, but why would Tonto?
Tonto.
But why did they? Is that like politically incorrect, or is it just they think it's outdated?
I don't think it's politically incorrect. I think it's because in 1980, the Lone Ranger show would have been much more like proximate in terms of people being able to know the answer to the question. Yeah. Although I'm realizing the movie remake of it, I think, came out after 2013, so they may have been able to leave that in anyway.
Didn't Johnny Depp play Tonto in the remake?
Yeah, he played Tonto. Look, he's got an incredible range, Brady.
I haven't seen it, so I shouldn't judge. But
look, he can be.
I still love the cartoon of Lone Ranger.
If you need someone to be weird in just like Captain Jack Sparrow, then Johnny Depp is your man.
Yeah.
So there are like a lot of these cultural questions, and that's a bunch of the stuff that they updated. But honestly, like flipping through it, it does feel like. It feels like a real mixture of college-y questions, the science ones like liquid mercury, and then a bunch of just what do we want to have a sense of? Do people know? But I don't. It doesn't strike me as. I don't know. Rigorous isn't the word I'm looking for, but this. I don't know. Maybe I should go back and take a look at what the original 1980 paper, like what their goal was with trying to do this. But
I do take from it like a degree of, gee, people in college aren't that clever, are they?
Well, this is also.
Is that wrong?
I don't think that's wrong. I would put all of this under the category of trivia. All of this is trivia. Even the science questions are trivia questions.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And I don't think that really has anything to do with. It may like loosely correlate with intelligence, but I don't think it's. That's why I was trying to say in the show, and I kept trying to say this phrase of like, what do people know, or what can you expect people to know? And that's a very.
I definitely don't think it's about intelligence.
Yeah.
I think I got a feeling there that I probably would have got more of those right than you if you and I went head to head.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
I definitely would classify you probably as more intelligent than me in terms of thought and problem solving and stuff like that. But I have a greater general knowledge, so I wouldn't say that, or a greater trivia knowledge. So I wouldn't say it's anything to do with intelligence. But I do still think that's important. I do think like it's good life skills. Like it's good life skills to know what a kilt is. Like you're right, you don't have to know what a kilt is, but if you're at a wedding and someone makes a comment about a kilt and you don't know or don't laugh at a joke and just look blank, like that's not good for you. That's not going to help you in life, being the guy who didn't know what a kilt was.
Yeah, like there's like I'm just browsing through it again now, and it's like what's the famous magician and escape artist who died of appendicitis? You know, it's Houdini. There's this thing where it doesn't matter. Knowing that doesn't matter, but it's funny. This test actually made me think a lot of like when I was preparing for the SATs, and all of the prep that you do, which is related to these kind of cultural touchstones, and a lot of the vocabulary section is that it's like it's less about the vocabulary, and it's more like a cultural touchstone. Like I'm forgetting his name. The like the river boatman who takes you across the river Styx in the Greek underworld. I can't remember his name now, but like I remember that as part of the SAT vocabulary study time that I did as a kid. Is like know his name as a vocabulary word, but what we're really doing here is you have some kind of cultural touchstone reference to make with other people when you're talking to them. Or if you hear someone refer to this thing, you have an idea of it. Like you say, like with the kilt, like someone makes a joke and you know what a kilt is. Yeah. I don't know what that kind of thing is, or it's not even like.
Is there a word for it? Like, you know how there's like emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Is there a word for like? Is there cultural intelligence or something like that?
Yeah, maybe that's a good way to put it. It is a kind of cultural intelligence, because it feels different. It feels different from trivia, right? Like some of these things feel like pure trivia questions to me, where it just does like it doesn't matter, and it's not any kind of. Okay, here's a good one. Like what brand of cigarette was the first to have the flip top box? You know. Who cares? The answer is Marlboro was the first one. Yeah. And that feels just like a total trivia question. Nobody's ever going to make a literary reference to Marlboro having a flip-top box. No. But people will make reference to something like Sputnik.
Yeah, or Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, or Bruce Wayne is a good example. Like people will, or like the one about the dinosaurs, right? Terrible lizards. That feels like another kind of cultural touchstone where in someone's writing, they might use the word terrible lizards to make like a literary reference to something without saying the thing. Or I don't know. Oh, if I can actually here, let me use myself as an example where I was, doing this kind of thing in the last Brexit video. I have a line where I say something like, "Oh, and on a very good Friday, they agreed not to have a border between them."
Okay, yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing where I'm not saying the Good Friday Agreement, but if you know that, that's like a little cultural reference. Like, oh, it should be pleasing to someone who knows this. Yeah. But you're not missing anything if you don't know it, right? Yeah. Like it just sort of goes past you. But no, you're totally right that if you and I took this test and we went through all 300 questions, there's no version of this where you don't crush me in the score. Because again, even in the top 20, like there's 2 I missed out of the top 20, and very quickly going down this list, I start missing a bunch of like it's hard for me to come up with what the name is, and all of the sports ones. It's brutal, right? It's absolutely brutal. But I don't know. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you didn't feel like I was putting you on the spot.
Oh, I did at first, and it was all right. And then I didn't embarrass myself, so I was all right with it.
Yeah.
If I didn't know any of them, I would have been like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's one question in there which is noted as being the question which increased the most in knowledge between 1980 and 2013.
Yeah.
So I didn't mention it in the recording, but I think it's so weird. The question is, what animal runs the fastest?
As in like the cheetah?
Yeah, the cheetah is the answer.
Yeah.
But that was the 10th most known question in 2013. And it was in like the bottom 20% in the original survey.
I guess it's become a bit of a zeitgeisty thing, isn't it? That cheetahs are the fastest animal. Like,
yeah, like the cheetah becomes the cultural touchstone.
yeah. There's loads of stuff on this list that we haven't done on our show notes. Like, I still think we should have an episode soon where we just like clear these old show notes out of all the things we haven't talked about. Like, I scroll down, like, there's stuff on page like 6 and 7 of these notes that I'm thinking, oh yeah, that would be good to do.
Yeah. For our very first Goodbye Internet listeners, hello. We don't really know what we're doing here, but
no, no. I've got to. I'm flying tomorrow. I've got to finish packing.
Yeah.
But before that, I've got to go and pick up my wife from work in her new car.
Ooh.
So I definitely can't crash her.
No, you can't. You can't crash her new car, Brady. That would be very bad.
I'm very unprepared for traveling.
Yeah, but we were. I spent a soul crushing amount of time with tax accountants today, and
it was hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the whole morning, and I literally. I know you were laughing at me in iMessage, but I find that just so draining. I came back from that meeting with accountants trying to resolve all this like horrible US UK tax stuff. Came home and immediately fell asleep for an hour and a half and then just woke up before, like, oh God, we got to record a podcast. So between you traveling and me just being conked out from the worst part of being self-employed, the part that's just awful and draining, we were both showing up pretty unprepared today. And yeah, we've had it in the back of our mind that to do an episode, which is the like clear out the show notes episode. And today might have been the day, but the quiz saved us at the last minute.
I did say that. I said at the start, should we just like make this the clear out episode? And you were like, no, I think we're going to be all right. And I'm like, well, that's not like Gray. He's normally really pessimistic. So I should have known that was a hint that you were sitting on something.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. I am always the one who's like, we got nothing. It's all over. 123 episodes in, and I still have a cold sweat before every one that we've got nothing to talk about, and we're not going to make it through an episode.
Yeah. I had something nice happen, actually, that I meant to tell you.
Yeah.
That I'll tell you now.
Yeah.
And that was because it fits in with, like, teachers.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how we always talk about how teachers always don't remember their students. You always harp on about that.
Oh,
you know, we forget you.
Yeah.
And I've found that to be so true since you told me. And whenever I talk to teachers, I bring it up. So the other day on the other podcast I do, I mentioned my school teacher in year 3. So when I was like 7 years old or something. Okay. I talked about her and told this boring story. It was a story I've actually told on Hello Internet, it turns out, that I'd forgotten. So I retold a boring story to the...
No, look, this is how this goes, man. Like...
I know, but now I've got 2 podcasts I've got to worry about it. You must do it all the time as well on Cortex.
Oh my God, yeah, no, it's... Yeah. And especially, like, I don't know, how long have we been doing Hello Internet? 15 years at this point. Like, after 100 episodes, I feel like we have a free license for repeat stories, and with both of us doing other podcasts, it becomes totally impossible to keep track of what happened where.
Are you eating chocolate?
Yeah.
Oh, you are going casual for Goodbye Internet.
Yeah.
So
this is nice. No, but like, for the record, it's like dark keto friendly chocolate.
Okay, right.
So it's not as delicious as it might otherwise be.
It's not yummy. So anyway, I told the story about my year 3 teacher, and randomly I then like Google stalked her to find out whatever happened to her. I was just curious, and it turns out she only retired from the same school as a primary school teacher, like at the end of last year.
Oh, yeah?
And I found her on Facebook. So I sent her a message saying, look, I know you won't I know you won't remember me. I know teachers don't remember students, but we remember you, and you have made an impact on me in this special way. And I just wanted you to hear this. And I sent her a link to the podcast and told her like where to listen to.
That's nice. That's nice to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So she messages me back. In fact, I'll read you what she messaged me back.
Yeah.
She messages me back and she says, let me move this over so I can see it on my screen. Thanks, Brady, for your kind words. I do remember you. Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, you played a lamb in the Year 3 Christmas play that I produced. And get this, and every year I hang a Christmas symbol on the tree that you gave me.
Oh, wow.
And then she sent me a picture of the Christmas decoration. Like, obviously what happened was because I played the lamb,
right.
my mum was like nice at buying gifts, bought this little child playing with a lamb as a Christmas ornament, and she puts it on her tree every year. So she hadn't forgotten me.
Oh, that's funny.
She remembered me really well.
You said
She told another story about me.
Wow.
Yeah. 1984.
Jesus Christ. That's. I mean, to be fair, she has like a totem to take through time.
Yeah.
You, so that helps.
Well, the other thing she remembered, right? This was the message I took from it. The other thing she remembered and had kept and sent me a scan of was we did a second performance of that Christmas play at like a local nursing home, and then towards the end, some old man at the nursing home was so like overcome with emotion that the kids were coming and performing for him that he grabbed the nearest kid and gave that kid a big wet kiss on the cheek. And unluckily for me, I was that kid. And my mum was there and thought it was really touching. And she wrote this really nice letter about it to the principal of the school, so my teacher's boss. And the principal of the school liked my mum's letter so much that he asked if he could print it in the school newsletter, which was like a photocopied newsletter that went out, once a week. So it was printed in the newsletter, and obviously the teacher really liked that because her boss liked it and put it in the newsletter.
Right.
So the two things that happened to make sure you get remembered is one, gives them a physical present that they keep, and two, do something that involves their boss because then they'll never forget you.
That's true.
And I ticked both boxes.
So you did tick both boxes. I mean, that's the problem. Like you're more memorable. The cruel reality is that the vast majority of the human masses are totally forgettable people. Right. I was
awesome as the sheep,
but not
I was
you,
a great
Brady.
sheep.
You were a bawing away, and it was a performance to be remembered. I'm sure.
I was an amazing sheep. I still remember the words. I said the sheep with the curly horn. Something about he wore my coat on Christmas morn, like he was wearing my fleece. Well, he wasn't wearing it when he was born. I think after he was born, they put it around him.
Very, very impressive. Very impressive memory of your song from 100 years ago.
I remember the first line. I said the sheep with the curly horn. I remember that part.
Oh, we didn't get to. I don't think we'll do it next time. But I was gonna ask you about the Brexit being bumped back. But yeah,
don't know if I could bear it. There's only one more wax cylinder available.
Oh yeah. What's the wax cylinder numbers at?
It's
set it to what, 50, 60?
I think I put it up to 70.
70?
I need to ring him and talk to this guy and tell him like how many are you willing to make? How many?
Oh my God.
Actually, that's what I'll do. I'll call him now.
I was gonna say, yeah. So you've got 70. You need to assess how much he really wants to make a bunch more of these.
Because he's got to melt the wax, set it. He's got to make the cylinders, and then he's got to real time etch them.
Yeah.
He's got to. I'm sending him the labels, but he's got to then put the labels on the cylinders and all sorts. Like it's not. It's hardcore.
It's labor intensive, but yeah, I think you need to go. You need to talk to him and find out how much is he really willing to. how many wax cylinders is he really willing to make for his podcast?
This is the mother lode for him. He's probably spent his whole time just dreaming of like. Can you imagine? No, but like up and ordered?
That's just it. Like, because here's the thing. Like, you're like a wax cylinder expert, and then someone contacts you and says, "Hey, can you make a bunch of wax cylinders for us?" This either is a total dream job, which it very well may be, but then you may also, as someone who's been in the wax cylinder business for a long time, not be expecting the actual volume that Hello Internet can deliver. So I think like you need to clear it with this guy about how many of these might actually be made and find out like what is his for real upper limit on the human patience for hand carving you and I talking about old technology.
And also, like, what if his equipment breaks halfway through? Like, has he got a backup option if the thing machine breaks down?
I meant to ask you because this is always the part I find baffling. So when you got into your crazy head to do this, like, how did you just like Google wax cylinder production to find this person? Is that like how did you go about finding this guy?
Yeah, I need to come up with a better story because that's pretty much the story.
Oh, okay. All right. That's all I want to know. I don't know. Like, I don't know if you get your newsboy contacts and
no.
It is,
this is his business. He's like, he normally supplies blank cylinders. That's his core business.
Right.
He makes the blank smooth ones, and enthusiasts who want to make their own and etch their own use him as the supplier.
Oh, that makes sense. Right. That makes more sense as the business model that he's producing the blanks.
Yeah, but he can also, if you've got something you want etched, he can do it. So I was like, I don't want your blanks.
We want your assembly line.
Cool. All right,
man.
I gotta finish packing.
You gotta go pack.
Long drive ahead.
Yeah.
Gotta call my cylinder man.
Yeah, you got a lot to do, and I've got to go to bed. So I will talk to you later.